Going over a game that I thoroughly enjoy. It's honestly one of my favorite games, and while it's not the best game and doesn't exactly have the best reputation, I love it. As you can tell by the title, that game is, well, the title and thumbnail, that game is Starbound. To put it simply, Starbound is a good game. It's not great, but it's far from bad. I personally enjoy the game, and while it may not be for everyone, the mix of story and sandbox elements make it a bit more refreshing and unique than other sandbox games such as Terraria or Minecraft. The boss fights are, in my opinion, the best part, probably tied with the combat, as the combat is extremely well refined and extremely enjoyable and fair. The movement is my biggest issue with the game, as it's extremely annoying and can most of the times lead to when you're dying, even when you really shouldn't die. And the grind, while rough at the very beginning, slowly becomes a lot less of an issue as you find yourself just going to planets to scan, and you'll just find the resources while looking around. Ah, yes, the
grind.
I'm going to start with this because this is a big aspect to the game. When you start in Starbound, the grind is likely the most time-consuming part of the game. There are also multiple kinds of grinding in the game, the most common one being getting better equipment. There's also scanning. That's something I'll go over in its own part of the video, as that's a very interesting thing in the game. And then there's the game's currency, pixels. I was able to get boatloads of pixels early on in the game, which quickly made money grinding kind of useless, and I was just pretty much rich. But the thing that I really like about Starbound is grinding quickly becomes unneeded, as you'll find yourself exploring planets and just finding the resources sitting around in chests. It's actually a pretty good swap from grinding to exploration, in my opinion. This is by far the most likely thing to get you killed. There's cool parts to it and such, but then there's the bad parts, and they're really bad. Going down platforms is just straight up annoying, and you're likely to just fall through them at light speed and die. If you try to save blocks to get out of a hole, you're just gonna slip off unless they're at least 3 tiles wide. This can make it a pain when you're low on platforms and in a cave, but the almighty Starbound gods have given us rope. This is a bit off topic, but there's a tool in this game called rope. This stuff is like a grappling hook that works with physics. I feel like Indiana Jones while using this. Like, you can swing with this and downscale mountains in such a sick way, and this was just by far one of the best tools in the game. It has so many uses, and it can even be used in combat since you can dual wield with it. Of course, that does require you to use a one-handed weapon. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't talked about the combat yet. Combat in this game is amazing. Each weapon is either one-handed or two-handed, which allows for dual wielding if you have 2 one-handed weapons. And there's no real way to put it, but OP weapons feel OP. They also have weaknesses which does allow for balancing, such as whether it be high energy usage, low rate of fire, low damage, or etc. Plus, even the most OP weapon has something it doesn't fare well against with certain enemies. Enemies are just amazing. Different enemies have their own gimmick, whether it be a simple charge that allows them to run at you at really high speeds and are a pain to dodge, or armor that just decreases the amount of damage they can take. It makes it challenging, in my opinion, to having to memorize attacks of different enemies in order to take them out. The fastest way. In all honesty, combat is this game's second strongest attribute. God, yes! The bosses in this game. These boss fights are the pinnacle of this game. I love the fights. They are super fun and each have an easy to understand part about them. For example, the very first boss fight in the game, some big scary crystal that can't take damage from normal weapons. But if you activate 4 different buttons that are in each corner of the arena, you can shoot a cannon placed underneath him to eventually 3-shot him. Each boss also has quite a big difficulty curve between, which is sort of a major downside to me, as it does make speedruns a lot harder if you're, not used to this game. Though usually you will get items to fight the boss in its quote-unquote dungeon. Speaking of the dungeons, I'm calling these dungeons as I don't know what else to call these. They each have something different, such as the Florin Hunting Grounds or the Hiloto Library. They also present different challenges, and at the end of each dungeon is the boss for that race. This allows you to gather items of a recommended tier, or, strength, before fighting the boss, which does make the fights a lot easier, as sometimes you will feel a bit underpowered as you'll get wrecked in the dungeon. It's great. There's not much else to say. I love this game's music. Just listen to this. Alright, now let's get on to the next part and my last point of the video. Hate this. Scanning's bad, like really bad. You first gotta find a star with the right planet, then be lucky enough for the right structure to be on that planet. Sometimes, one planet isn't enough! Oh, this feature is holding back Starbound by a lot. Sure, even without this, Starbound won't be perfect, but it will be better. A lot better. I genuinely don't want to talk about this because I hate this part of the game, but I have to because this is a review. So honestly, I give it 0 out of 5 stars. It doesn't get anything from me. No. Man, this project took me longer than it should have. I was unable to find a proper video editor. I didn't have any way to record the audio, but it's done. I don't know how well this will turn out, but I hope I can at least convince you to try the game. Sure, it's not for anyone, but it is still really fun. If you like games like Terraria, or any other similar games, I recommend this game. It's not as good, and has parts that really suck, but it's still enjoyable. I know I jump around from topic to topic, and I'm not a professional game reviewer, so don't honor my opinion, just think about it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you really enjoyed, hit that like, and if you want to see my eventual Starbound Let's Play, hit that subscribe button. Please and thank you.